That smells like poppin' bees.
What's poppin' bees?
What's poppin' bees? Welcome back to BeerSos. Yeah, but before I record, what I do, like what I just did now is I went to the bathroom. I did some mouthwash. And I
Which
just
one?
went, the Lister, the green
Oh,
one,
yeah.
the green one. And I just went, oh, and I just like let it out. I try to get those recording nerves out. You know, we have a fantastic guest on today. You know, this is not, I want to make sure to be in the present. I don't want to be thinking about, oh, am I going to edit this?
Is my breath bad? Is my breath bad?
Yeah, like, does Larry think I look cute right now? Does he think my curls look good? Like, I don't want to worry about that. So I just get it out.
They do.
Their curls look good.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you. Like, what do you do? What do you do to like get in the zone?
I'm doing it right now.
Oh, whoa.
He's
Describe what's happening.
So I go internal
oh okay.
and I'm not thinking.
Oh,
And I'm not feeling.
Whoa.
I'm basically emptying myself so that there's no garbage there at all. And I am completely open to what the person who's sitting opposite me wants to talk about.
As we are too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I prepare. So coming over here today, it was a little anxiety because I'd never been here before.
Yeah.
And my GPS was taking me through downtown.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Driving in downtown's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ignored the GPS and I went a different way. But there was some anxiety associated with that. So when I arrived here, I'm sitting out in my car and I tune into the anxiety. I don't try to distract myself from it. And as I tune into it, it starts to settle down by itself. I don't have to push it down. It just settles down by itself.
Whoa.
I need to get on that.
I gotta get
Dude, you
on
gotta
that.
get on that.
I personally feel anxiety all the time. I got it. I think one of me and Derek's friends, his name's also Derek, he gave me advice where he was like, when you feel anxious, lie in your bed and just feel the anxiety till it goes away. But sometimes that
How
takes
long does it take?
like 20 minutes. I'm just
That's
lying
so
there.
long.
And I get bored. I get bored.
Well,
But
if you get bored, that means the anxiety's gone.
That's right.
yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. So that's how I know it works. But I feel like, Larry, the way you present yourself, I think when I first met you, the way I shook your hand, it was so calming. The sound of your voice. How many people tell you the sound of your voice is really calming?
Many, many people.
Larry, do you know ASMR?
No.
Oh, there's this thing on YouTube where people really like to fall asleep to like whispering.
Uh-huh.
That could be a new market you tap into.
Well, I used to do part of my therapeutic approach was hypnosis.
Really?
Yeah. And, don't get too excited about it because the results that I produced with it was just a state of a supreme relaxation on the part of the client. But they didn't learn how to walk on water or fly through the air or do anything miraculous.
Yeah.
But my voice was certainly a resource or an asset because they found my voice very calming and soothing.
Oh my God.
I see those videos of like people will go to like colleges and perform hypnosis. Are those real?
I think so. My partner is very, she had hypnosis for childbirth. And I can see how she's very susceptible to hypnosis because she's very, I was going to say gullible, but she's very, she believes easily. She's not skeptical.
Yeah.
Whereas I've got a bit of a skeptic in me. So my head is always going. I went down to Friday Harbor in San Juan Islands to get some training from a hypnotherapist. And I'm skeptical the whole time I'm there.
Yeah.
He does an interesting little experiment. He probably spotted my skepticism. So he says, okay, well, I'm going to do a little demonstration with Larry. I've got a lasso here. And he had an imaginary rope. And he was just making it into a lasso. And then he said, I'll just slip. Do you mind if I slip that over your head? And I said, no, go ahead. He puts it over my head, this imaginary thing. And then he starts to pull on it.
Oh my God.
No wonder you moved.
I moved backwards.
When he started to pull on it.
Yeah, because I was resisting him.
Whoa.
We need to get hypnotized.
I really want to get hypnotized. But did you know, Larry, did you know that there's actually a certain word that I think hypnosis is used to further put their client into a state of relaxation? Did you know that?
No.
The word is poppin' bees.
Poppin' bees.
What's poppin' bees? Welcome back to BeerSos. My name is Nicholas
My
Ponsavat.
name's DRAKZHU, Derek Zoo.
And today we are joined with
Larry Green.
Larry Green. Larry, how does it feel to be here today?
It feels pretty good. I just you just did a little segue there, and I thought, where's he going now?
That's the little intro we
You got
do. That's the
pranked.
little intro we do. Does your partner know you're here today?
Yeah.
How does she feel that you've taken a chunk out of your day today to record with a couple 22-year-olds?
She was traveling back from Los Angeles airport.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
She'd been down in Brazil and Argentina, so I imagine she's exhausted and isn't thinking about me one iota.
Okay, you know what? I respect that. I respect that.
What do you think of this room, the set? The same thing I asked Aaron, and he said I was chaotic.
That's a pretty good word. I was surprised. It sort of feels like a little like a clubhouse.
Like a clubhouse.
Clubhouse!
That's what we did on purpose.
Yeah.
That's what we did on
Love a
purpose.
There
clubhouse.
were a couple of guys on Saturday Night Live who, Fred and Ted's Adventures or something like that.
Fred and Ted Adventures?
No, it wasn't really that. I can't remember.
What do they do?
They would do the kind of things in their rec room in their parents' basement. And
On SNL?
I don't remember. The thing is I don't watch
was
SNL.
it this guy?
no,
Ah,
who's that guy?
Pete Davidson. He's
Yeah,
also on SNL.
He's pretty good.
Oh,
This is before Pete Davidson. Yeah.
Huh.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that a lot. I like
Yeah.
that a lot. Are we like Fred and Ted?
Sorta.
Sorta?
They were goofier. They were intentionally goofy, sort of like Borat.
Yeah.
I have my goofy moments. I feel like I want to be more professional right now.
Yeah, I feel like it's also the tone that I think partially you said as well, and I'm not saying that is a bad thing as well. I think the tone when you came in here, the vibe is different. Obviously, like if like one of our like friends or like peers just come in and like we just talk about penises,
We'd be goofy.
you know?
Well, I saw that with Aaron. All three of you guys were kind of goofy, but you had flex. You were able to change levels. You could be jokey, then you could go down to a more serious level and then move all over the place. Yeah.
Were you goofy when you were our age? How goofy were you?
Not as goofy as you guys.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
That means we're really goofy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But I see that, like I was when COVID was happening, I was in an outdoor bar, Mahoney's, down on South Falls Creek with my partner. And
Oh, I thought I said with his homies.
No.
I said, do you notice something? She said, what? I said, there's a lot of people laughing here. She looks around and, oh yeah, they're under 30.
They're in their 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're under 30.
Oh, they're under 30.
What happens when you hit 30?
You start, you know what happens when you hit 27?
Yeah, what happens?
You die.
You die.
What?
Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin,
Amy Winehouse.
Amy
I think.
Winehouse.
Michael Jackson. I don't think so.
No, he was twice 27. But I think of 27 as a quarter life crisis.
Really?
Yeah. That is, when you turn 27, you suddenly realize this is not a 100-yard dash. This is a marathon. Up till then, you think, after I get through this momentary crisis I'm in right now, everything will be smooth sailing.
Yeah.
And when you turn 27, you say,
Did you feel that?
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was in Europe at the time when I turned 27, and I'd been 18 until I was 27.
Okay, no. Okay, we're chill. We're good. We're good.
Okay, we're good.
We're like that.
Yeah. So like a mental self-image of myself didn't change from when I was 18 until I was 27. Then I matured 9 years in 1 year. I grew up 9 years in 1 year.
And how did that feel? What did,
It was...
you had a crisis?
Yeah, it was a struggle. It was a big struggle, yeah.
Like what did you go through? Did you just like have an ego death? Did you start questioning everything about yourself?
Somewhere at the beginning of my 27th year, I did some LSD down in the West Indies. I was in the West Indies.
LSD in the West Indies.
Yeah. And during that experience, I realized all the things that I thought of as myself, was actually just a bunch of algorithms, a bunch of programs, a bunch of scripts. If this happens, then you do this. If that happens, then you do that. That's sort of like what you do as you grow up. You just make up these maps of how to handle various situations, and you don't even know you're making maps. That's all you're doing, though, is just making maps. And then the map gets bigger and bigger. You think, I'm getting bigger and bigger. And then you drop acid down in the West Indies and you realize, no, I'm not getting bigger. The map's getting bigger.
We got to do that, man.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for a crisis.
The thing
Nico.
is, like, I feel like I can relate to that in a way. I do feel like reflecting on myself. I feel like each year, I think I can track growth to a certain extent. But I think the biggest thing I resonated with that is the dash. I feel like I'm dashing right now, and I feel like once the dash is over, it'll be good and I'll be set. But realistically, I know I'm naive. Like I'm aware of my naivety.
Yeah.
I know it's not a dash, but I'm treating it like a dash anyways.
I think you should enjoy your dash.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like stressed out,
Yeah,
Larry.
Like you got to listen to your music in your dash and romanticize it.
Yeah.
Just a second. So what do you mean you're stressed out?
I think like before we started recording, you asked me if I was in school. I was like, no, I decided to drop out. And that stress, is I think really zagging when everyone zigs really stressed me out. Just because of how I decided to not go with the norm. And then also I decided to put all my chips into a very obscure career path that is very inconsistent. And obviously that'll cause stress, and like at the end of the day, it's on me and Derek to make it happen. And there's nobody like be like, oh, it's okay. Like we got you. Like that's not real. Like it is on us at this point to do it.
Yeah.
So that stress that kicks in every day.
Well, so the guidelines that sort of tell us how to operate the norms, you use the word norm, right? They're all disintegrating in the culture at large. So the guidelines aren't around. There aren't very many guidelines around. But one of the things that people do when there are not many guidelines, they say, well, what is everybody else doing? They start copying somebody else.
Yeah.
If all the herd is running that way, I'm going to run with. They can't all be wrong. And that's the way I'll guarantee my safety and my success is I'll just run where the herd is running.
Yeah.
I noticed they're running over the edge of the cliff. Maybe that's not a good idea to run with the herd. Am I strong enough to run by myself? And that's sort of what you're talking about, is you made a decision, an alone decision, not going with the herd decision. Yeah. And that's going to generate a lot of stress. And also it's going to make some steel inside you, because that's the only way you grow up is when you start making decisions for yourself instead of what mom said or what your friends said. Yeah.
Yeah. Or what you're supposed to do.
What you're supposed to do. Yeah.
I feel like, I feel like the norm is still like go to college, go to university, do your 4 years. And we both dropped out of school. What did he say that complimented us when I was in the bathroom?
So Larry said that people who drop out have a higher IQ.
Yeah.
Is that sort of what you said, Larry?
Think? Yeah. They had a higher IQ than the people who graduate.
Why is that? I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll totally take that.
Well, look at Steve Jobs and Bill Gates.
And Mark Zuckerberg.
And they all dropped out.
And the Unabomber.
Well,
didn't he go to...
I didn't know about the Unabomber dropping out of school, but he was a very intelligent guy, wasn't he?
Oh, he stayed in school.
Did he?
Okay, I don't know. But I know he went to like an Ivy League.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether he dropped out or not. But it's interesting that those guys, Jobs and Gates, and that dropped out. They had a look around and said, why am I doing this? I could be doing that over there. So it's sort of like a guy who started MTV,
Yeah.
What's his name? Do you know what
I have
his
no
No
idea. I know
clue.
of MTV, but I don't know who started it.
He came over. I think he was a immigrant from Russia. His parents were Russian, and they went to Israel, and then they came. He wanted to get into publishing. And he looked around at publishing, and he said, it's going to take me 10, 15, 20 years before I can make it in publishing. What's this new industry called television? Music videos. So he went that way. He sort of sized up the culture he was in now, not the culture that his parents were in.
Yeah.
Sort of all the things that you're saying, go to all the shoulds that you get. Those shoulds come from 20 years ago or 30 years ago or 40 years ago. They're not responsive to the way the world is evolving right now. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm going to have like 20 roommates until I'm like 90 years old just because the housing crisis, that's something I'm okay with.
Yeah.
You know, that's just something I'm going to have to learn to live
clubhouse, dude.
with. Yeah, I'm going to have to live in a clubhouse with like 20 people. It's going to be a fun time.
It's going to be hard to fit them in here.
Yeah, we're going to have sleeping bags.
Yeah. What do you think has changed when you were younger compared to how we are now? Like, or what the norms or how society is?
Yeah.
Like the Gen Zs get a lot of praise.
We also get a lot of shit. We get a little bit of shit as well.
Are you Gen Z?
Yeah, we're Gen Z. We were both born in 2002.
Wait, what are you?
I'm a baby boomer.
Let's go.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a little bit older than a baby boomer, actually. But say, when I was going to high school, when I graduated from high school, my parents were very poor and they needed money. So I got a job. I got a job in a bank and I started helping them out. But I had this idea that when you turned 18, you couldn't wear jeans anymore. You couldn't wear cords anymore.
Oh my God, he started wearing suits.
You started to wear dress pants. And then, so, that was happening. And then one day I was catching a bus up in Kerrisdale. 4 guys got on the bus and they all had long hair. And I'd never seen men with long hair before. And I thought, it was almost like a new life form.
Were they hippies?
They were hippies.
Yeah, that's what my grandpa calls me. My grandpa's
You
like,
think he's hippie-like?
A little bit.
Yeah. And the thing is, I take no offense to that at all. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like a new life form. There was like something new showed up on the planet, and the optimism was incredible. The people were very, very hopeful and optimistic about their lives, and you could do anything. And music exploded then. You'd get songs that weren't 2 minutes long; they were 7 minutes long. And
Freebird.
Yeah.
For 7 minutes long to come to your head.
Yeah.
Everything seemed new. Like when Hendrix played, like nobody had heard anything like that before.
Yeah.
And it was like new circuits were opening up in everybody's brains. And everybody was thinking, well, what's possible?
Yeah. Don't tell me you had a hippie arc.
Did you have a hippie?
Were you a
arc?
hippie?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have a little,
Did you have a little
piercing? Did you have a little piercing
No.
back in the day?
No,
Oh no.
no.
Did you protest the Vietnam War?
What's that?
Did you protest the Vietnam War?
I protested the Iraqi when they invaded Iraq. That was pretty upsetting for me.
Did it do any good back then?
I don't know. I think it did some good, but that was because guys your age were getting drafted.
Yeah.
And they were, so nobody wanted to go and fight for somebody else.
Yeah.
Like it didn't make sense to them. And I would go 5,000 miles away to kill people I don't even know because somebody told me to do
I don't
that.
know. I'm dodging.
Yeah.
I get drafted and I'm out.
Yeah, that's right.
Analyzing, looking at us as us young men now, do you think if me and Derek were like put back, like when you were 20, do you think we would thrive, or do you think like we would get called like gay and like kicked?
I think you'd probably thrive.
We get stoned.
Really?
We wouldn't
We'd
get
thrive?
stoned.
Yeah, I think you would get stoned for sure.
Oh, different stone.
Yeah,
different
yeah,
stone.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you'd thrive. I mean, you're pretty loose. You're pretty flexible. You seem pretty flexible and loose.
Okay.
The guys that I met back there who were dodging the draft were really exceptional men. They were very, very bright, and they had courage. They were willing to not do the shoulds. They're willing to leave their country because they didn't believe what their country was doing. So they were very impressive. I picked them up hitchhiking, and within a few minutes, we'd be having these incredible conversations.
Dude, we gotta start doing the things he's been doing when he was younger. Shrooms in the
forest.
Okay, hitchhiking with a bunch of draft dodgers. Like, we haven't done anything.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Oh my gosh.
Well, I think, I was talking to somebody the other day, and he has a 17-year-old and a 13-year-old. And I said, well, are they out all the time? No, they're never out. I said, well, what are they doing? They're playing video games.
Yeah, I do that. I do that sometimes. I do that sometimes.
It's just more stimulating than going to ride a bike.
Well, some guy says that flow. You know what the flow experience is?
Flow state?
Flow state.
Oh, yeah.
They say that video games is a good way of getting in the flow state.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. But what does that make your life better if you're
I
in the
don't
flow
think so.
state? Like,
No.
if I'm playing like League of Legends in the flow state, like I'm still.
I think it's
What
the
do you
way
think?
you get into
What do you
it.
think? You seem to think it doesn't make your life better.
So for a little bit of context, I used to play video games all the time when I was younger in high school. Like, I was on video games like 10 hours a day. And even like during COVID, especially, I had nothing to do. I was on video games. I was waking up at 4 p.m. playing video games till like 6 in the morning. And that was when and this doesn't apply to everyone, but this was when I was
This
the world's.
what?
I was saying this doesn't apply to anyone because I'm going to make fun of myself and I don't want people to group them into me if that's not you. But it was when I was the world's biggest loser. Like, I was at my most loser state when I was playing video games because I think the culture of video games is very toxic. Like, all the men that played video games are really like just hurtful. So being in that community is bad.
They're what?
Very like hurtful.
Hurtful.
Yeah.
They take shots at each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It I think what it is, and let me know if you think I'm right or here, Derek. When you're behind a screen, it's so much easier to say something. So then a lot of games, especially like competitive games, you have to communicate with like a team you're on, right? And it's people you don't know, but you all have like voice chat and you can like speak to each other. If you're behind a screen, you're so much more willing to like be racist or misogynistic or just say something super insensitive.
And then you go in person you go in public with this person and they're the nicest person ever. But you go behind the screen with them and they're like the actual devil. And you're like, what is happening? And it creates this just weird, like, I think the community in a lot of video games, and that's not all video games, but the competitive ones I was playing are very toxic. And then I just felt like, and then also I just wouldn't really go outside. My relationships were purely like online.
Yeah.
And
How did that change?
I was so socially awkward that I just became so shameful of it that I had to go outside and get a job.
You became so ashamed of your misfitness? You know what I mean by misfit?
Misfitness?
You feel like a misfit, like I'm turning into a glowworm inside.
like a caveman. Or what is it called? When you're like in your
dweller,
basement.
a
A basement
dweller.
dweller.
Yeah.
I was very ashamed of, since I was on the games a lot, I was very not put together. I think there's a big video game culture of being like greasy and eating Doritos, and that's not necessarily true, but it's a little bit true sometimes when you're playing a lot. And I was very ashamed of how awkward I was socially, actually out in the world. And I turned like 18, 19, and I realized that like there was so much more out there because I was put in a couple of situations where I just acted so awkwardly that I felt so much shame in myself that I just like had to completely switch myself. I knew I needed a new personality. It was what it was. And
That sounds like my acid trip.
Wow.
everyone has one.
No, there's a thing called transformative learning that Aaron was very interested in. He was asking me about it on Saturday. And in transformative learning, it's sort of like you've got all these, you're not awkward, you've got all these scripts, you know how to handle yourself in all kinds of situations. And then you come across a situation where you're completely helpless and hopeless. You can't handle it. And it's called a disorientating dilemma. But I think your word is a much more appropriate word. Shame is what you feel. You feel naked. It's like you're in a mall and you don't have any clothes on. And
And then you're like, But it's actually better to cover your face.
Yeah, yeah. And so then that's when you either decide, okay, I'm going to bury myself or I'm going to change my personality. And you start reconstructing yourself because the way you were constructed was basically based on your parents and on the video games.
It's interesting because I look back at that time, even though objectively I didn't have many friends and I was awkward. I look back at that time with, I had a lot of hope when I decided to change myself. And I feel like that was when I was the most motivated ever. And I look back at it now and I want to say that I have achieved literally everything I wanted when I was 19, like 3 years ago, where I wanted to change myself. And I have just significantly less hope. So I look back at that time like really fondly because that amount of hope in my heart like felt really nice.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Like now I'm a lot less optimistic.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I used to be so optimistic.
I think I've definitely also noticed that as well.
like I'm a lot more
You
pessimistic.
notice that in yourself or in Derek?
I would say in Derek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad, dude.
No. That's I don't think that's a bad
Yeah.
thing. I love you for who you are, and I think it's just like I've known Derek for many years now,
Yeah.
and like I definitely noticed that for sure.
Did you know him when he was in his video game?
Yeah,
We played.
I was there. I was part of that journey as well.
So how did you make sense when you saw Derek starting to evolve from being a video game nerd? I hope you don't mind.
I was a big nerd.
Yeah.
How did you make sense of that? It sounded like he changed overnight almost.
I think it was really interesting because I feel like the example of like how he changed overnight. Yeah, I kind of blinked and then I'm here, right? But looking back, like analyzing it, there actually was a gradual change, and I don't think it was, in my opinion, I don't think it was natural. I think Derek brute forced the change.
yeah.
Like he was like, I gotta change. This is unacceptable, and he just brute forced it, and he did it so hard where it clicked in one day. You know,
That's a really good way to put it.
like
Especially this.
Yeah, like he really was like, nah, this is unacceptable behavior. I cannot, like, I gotta go talk to a girl right now. I can't play video games all day. And then he just went and cranked it so hard.
Like I would do like training days.
Yeah,
Where I would there used to be this site called Omegle where you would just like talk to random people on the internet. And then when I was still not courageous enough to go out and like actually meet people, I would just like take like a couple days out the week and just like try to talk to people. And then you could always just leave. You can always leave, which was a really nice part. And I would like train. Like I would call them like training.
Yeah,
That was pretty good. Did you have any friends that you modeled yourself on? Did you see somebody, hey, I want to be like him?
This guy. He's always been so social. Like he was the class clown. And even though we talk about it now as not a necessarily positive thing because you were just playing a character.
Yeah.
But the way that you could socialize, I admired a lot when I was trying to change.
Yeah.
So I modeled you and then like a couple celebrities that I liked.
I think it's really important to have a model. You know, like, I mean, a lot of people talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk. You know what I mean? They're hypocrites. So you get all kinds of preaching happening all the time. Tony Robbins is a contemporary preacher.
Tony Robbins.
Shout out. Come on.
Shout out or no?
Show. Come on.
Or is he good or bad?
I don't think it's good. You know, I think people
Don't come on the show.
People become cynical when they hear somebody talking a big game, but they get to know them and they're saying they're not playing the big game. They're talking the big game, but they're not playing it.
Yeah.
And
like,
then they meet somebody who's actually living what they say, and they say, oh, their optimism starts to get generated because they see somebody's actually playing it off. I'm curious about, it sounds like you used your will. You imposed your will on yourself. And so why don't you use your will now to dissolve your pessimism?
Ooh, I've never really thought about that. Why don't I use my will now? Because I'm so comfortable now. There was a lot of shame that pushed me to use that will to change myself, but now there's not a big catalyst like that shame for me. So I'm very stagnant and comfortable in that.
So I think people go through periods like that where they survive a crisis and they come out fresh and shiny and brand new.
Yeah.
And then they say, hey, I've arrived home now. I don't need to do anything differently. And then they feel comfort, and then they feel stagnation.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
That's like, it's,
Go ahead.
it's just so, I like comfort. And I was talking to you about how like, if I post something on social media, like I will instantly go for instant gratification. I'm an instant gratification guy. I like instant comfort. I like the easy way.
Okay.
I take the easiest way out every single time. I'm dodging the draft. All right. I'm not fighting no war. And that's always how I've lived. Like I'm very lazy, I could even say.
So the shame seemed to be a very loud voice inside you. And I wonder, it's almost like it was your conscience in a way. You know what I mean? Or maybe your soul knocked on your door and said, hey, buddy, wake up. You're losing it.
You nerd.
You're wasting your life. So you could call it shame, and that's what you're calling it. And I think shame is, but what's interesting for me is that when most people feel shame, they try to repudiate that part of themselves. They say they want to amputate that part of themselves, get rid of it. But you seem to use that. You found a way to use that shame to motivate you to make a better life for yourself.
Yeah, I think it was always also, I care a lot about what other people think of me too. So like the more I was changing, I was like feeding off of, like I was really feeding like I was symbiotic towards external validation.
Yeah.
So that's where a lot of like the motivation from not being shameful comes from as well. Okay. Like I was feeding off of like, I still do.
Yeah.
If I got a nice comment, I'm like, yeah, time to do the dishes. Like I get motivated from external validation, like mostly.
So motivated that you would even be prepared to do the dishes.
Yeah, that's big. That's big.
No,
for
I hate
Derek.
the
For
dishes.
Derek, that's big.
The dishes suck.
That's humongous for him. Yeah.
So I was talking to my son, and he was being self-critical in a way like you are. And I said, "Why are you so self-critical?" And he said, "If I don't criticize myself, my friends will."
Oh, damn!
Get some new friends, guys. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but I think there's some. It's sort of what you were doing, you know, like if people calling you a nerd and you're socially dependent, you're going to say this is no good. I'm going to have to. So what I think what a lot of people do is they install an internal critic in themselves. And that critic keeps them in line.
Yeah.
You're going too far, pull it in, pull it back. But that critical internal voice starts to crush them after a while.
Oh, Larry, you just want to tilt your mic just a little bit like this. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that internal critic starts to confine you in some way. It stops you from doing a lot of things. So you have to be careful with that internal critic. You need some of it to keep you on the straight and narrow. But if you got too much of it, you just start making yourself small. You make yourself too small. And you lose that, I can do this. The attitude, you lose that attitude. Yeah.
Like of just like self-belief, like, oh, I can get this task done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I feel like my self-critic on just myself is so high that it makes me get the task done.
Say, I was at a conference recently, and one of the people there was talking about attention deficit disorder, ADHD, and as I listened to her, I started thinking, people don't trust themselves, basically. So they get a list of things that they're supposed to do, that they should do, and they think if I miss one of those things, it's going to start an avalanche, and I'm going to get buried under it. Everybody's going to realize I'm a loser. I'm never going to be able to hold a job. So they become a slave master to themselves, and they're operating from a list of shoulds that tyrannizing them in some way. And what's sad about the whole thing is they lose touch with their desire.
Yeah.
They don't have any desire anymore. So like one of my clients said, when I'm high on marijuana, I know what I want. When I'm straight, I know what I should do, but I don't know what I want. Okay, that's very important, what I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If you're going to succeed in the long run, you have to tap into your desires. You can't just operate by shoulds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the desires give you motivation. The desires give you a long-term energy.
Mm-hmm.
I think my problem is more, I only do my desires and I never do my shoulds. Like,
that's why are you calling that a problem?
oh my God. I call it a problem because
Tell me about, oh my God, why did you say that? And what happened?
I've always seen me going towards my desires as me being lazy and like a bum.
But it's also like, what does one desire? Because I know right now Derek desires to go on his phone.
What? No.
And like
I think you think I'm worse off than I really am a lot of the time because I play into the character.
Okay.
But like I have like a 2-hour screen time on average, bro.
Okay,
like,
yeah,
the phone's mad boring.
I think I'm just going off inference and also like what you say as well.
I just want to spend all my money and go to like Italy right now.
That's your desire.
Yeah, and I don't push it that far because in my head it's like that's irresponsible. But like I'll go out and drink whenever I want. I'll go out and eat whenever I want. I have a long distance girlfriend. I will go see her whenever I want. It's never the straight path of like I gotta be successful. It's always just comfort, pleasure. I'll die like whenever I want. I think
you'll die whenever you want.
Yeah, if I ever feel like there's just no more pleasure.
Yeah.
And I feel like that I've always criticized myself as that for as being lazy and not driven.
There's something happened just now between you two where Nicola was saying something like about you scrolling.
Oh, I was saying, I said I think Derek just wants to go on his phone.
Oh, because I
his
like
desire was to go on his phone.
Yeah.
I like portray myself as like a bum and lazy, but I think a lot of what Gen Z see as bum and lazy is like going on their phone and sitting in their bed all the time. I'm not like that. I really just want to like go out and like go to the bar with my friends like all the time.
Yeah. I'm picking up on something a little bit different than that because when I was listening to you earlier, I was hearing a lot of negative descriptions. You were describing yourself in negative terms, like I'm a lazy bum, I was a nerd, I was socially awkward, and things like that. But as soon as Nicola said, yeah, I know what your desire is, then all of a sudden you became positive. You became positive about yourself. You said, no. You rejected the stereotype that you yourself set up and he was feeding into, and you said, no, that's just part of the picture. I'm more than that. Go ahead.
I like to be able to control how people perceive me. So like, I want people to think I'm this insanely, not optimistic, but like, I want people to look at my life and think that they want to live it too, which means like, obviously I self-criticize a lot here, but when someone else does it, it's like I'm losing control of how I can control.
Yeah.
I'm losing control of how they see me, but I need to control that. So I'm overcompensating. Like I just consciously overcompensate all the time. Like it's not even like a subconscious thing. I consciously do it.
Yeah. Did you learn anything from listening to what Derek just said you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, I'm learning something about Derek. He's revealing something. And I'm wondering if Nicola is also noticing that Derek's move, the way his mind's moving right now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't actually know.
Do you think you know how my mind works?
Yeah, I would like to say so. I would like to say so to a certain extent.
Sometimes I forget that like I'm the only one that fully knows that, like to the fullest extent. So like I don't know. I just like I forget that people don't know that.
Based off conversations me and Derek have previously had, I think it makes sense that I was led to the conclusion of Derek wants to go on his phone right now.
I self-criticize so much, but like a lot of it isn't true. I don't know why I do that.
Well, two things. First of all, I liked what you just said. You backed up your claim to know Derek based on your previous experience with Derek. So
Yeah.
you backed up what you said. I forget what I was going to say next.
No, I do that too.
Okay. I do that all the time.
Oh, you were talking about criticizing yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know why I criticize myself all the time. And I was talking to that a few minutes ago, and I said, we install this internal critic so other people won't criticize us. And you say, I'm okay at criticizing myself, but if somebody else criticizes...
It's the worst.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
So you're doing exactly what I said that most people do. They prefer their self-criticism to mom or dad criticizing them.
Oh, that one's the worst.
Yeah.
No. My mom criticizes me, I'll cry.
Yeah.
Like, do not. Like, I'd rather have a million comments calling me a loser than like my mom being like, you forgot to do this. Just like, no, I didn't forget.
Yeah. Do you have a girlfriend?
Yeah, I do.
Does she ever criticize you?
Yeah.
And is it different than when your mom criticizes?
It goes, the worst pain is mom,
Yeah.
skip a tier, girlfriend, skip a tier. I don't know why I'm skipping tiers if I'm just going to skip a tier every time. And then probably my friends. And then comment section.
The comment section would have the least influence on you.
It still hurts, but if my friends criticize me, it's worse. Because like they know me. So if my girlfriend criticizes me, it's like that is a real criticism. Like they know me. Like, she knows me.
Yeah. Like
But
it's
if-
accurate. It's
But if it's a comment, like you don't know me.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a key fitting into a lock. When your friends criticize you and it's accurate, the key fit the lock. So it has huge impact.
Well, it resonates more, I think.
It resonates more. Whereas if you went into Tim Hortons and the girl behind the counter criticized you in exactly the same way.
I'm like, who do you were at Tim Hortons, girl?
Yeah, that's right. It wouldn't make any difference to you at all. It's the source where it's coming from. There's a lot of weight on mom's criticism.
But my mom doesn't even know me that well. I just hate being criticized by my mom. Like, do you feel that?
Honestly, no, I don't care what my mom
because
thinks
if your
about
mom
me.
criticizes you, I want to say
It's a
more than
compliment.
me. Oh,
I disagree with my mom to such a level where I think the way we are living lives, like I think if you gave me and my mom 100 problems, we would solve that problem differently each time. We would never solve the same problem the exact same way. So every time she's like, "Oh, you're doing this wrong," I'm like,
then it means you're doing it
"Yeah,
right
that
in
means
your
I'm
head.
doing it
Okay.
right in my head." So I take it as like I don't take offense to it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something else that you were saying, Derek, that was very interesting. You guys are frying so many ideas in the air here. My synapses are blowing.
No, because
Could I give you a blanket statement, Larry? Could I give you a blanket question here?
Yeah.
I know before, the reason why Larry's here, by the way, is because Aaron Johnstone, the therapist, was like, you guys should get my therapist on the show. And that is Larry.
Wait, do you have a therapist?
Occasionally.
Occasionally.
We got to do the whole.
Yeah, we got to do the
circle.
whole chain. And I know you watched part of that episode before coming on. Based off that episode, based off the interactions you've had with us today, what are like your thoughts? I know you brought a whole book, and I asked you what's in the book, and you said in that book I have some thoughts about you. What are they? I'm very interested.
Unfiltered. If I'm
Unfiltered.
offended, I'll just be mad about it later. Like I'll keep my composure now.
Yeah. No, I haven't psychoanalyzed you guys. The only comment I had was I was impressed with your flexibility that you were able to go from being jokers to being serious and back to being jokers again. If you were locked on to being jokers all the time, then I don't think of that. I wouldn't be so impressed.
Yeah.
I'm much more impressed that you've got the willingness to go deep.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're impressing people out here.
Yeah. So I want to go back to, you said, I know myself so well, I assume other people know me in the same way, or I assume that they can't possibly know me as well as I know myself. You seem to be saying several things there.
Yeah.
And I want us to talk about that. So this is what happens in romantic relationships. When two people get together, they have a secret conversation that goes like this. It's a real drag being alone. So why don't you and I get together and we'll be one person
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be me, okay?
Mhm.
If they said it out loud, the game would be over because they can't
You
both,
can't admit that.
you can't admit that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you start acting like that. You start acting like your girlfriend or your boyfriend thinks exactly the way you do.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they don't, when you stumble on something, a misunderstanding, you think, what the hell? You're not who I thought you were.
Mm-hmm.
And what you thought they were was really just
Yourself.
yourself.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And there's a Buddhist aphorism that I really love. It goes like this: you should feel grateful whenever you're disappointed or frustrated, because it means you're getting news from reality. It's a beautiful.
But how do you get to that mindset? Like, if I'm disappointed, I'm what we call it crashing out, where I'm just going to get mad and start throwing stuff.
I think that's the instant natural first reaction is you're just destroying my fantasy of who you were. That can't be true. I'm going to argue you out of that. I'm going to have a great argument with you where I'm going to prove that you're not who you think you are. Mm-hmm. You're going to be who I think you are. That's what the argument is all about.
Yeah.
Be who I think you are. Don't be who you actually are. That's what the argument's about. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we definitely, I want to say, have a more, I think we have above average, even like really good perception of relationships.
Yeah, I would like to say so.
I would like to compliment ourselves and say that.
Yeah.
So
Get me.
I've always seen relationships as like, this is an autonomous person, but I do also get triggered when there are disagreements of opinion too. But that Buddhist quote, like, everyone always hypes up Buddhism as this like all peaceful thing, but how do you get to that mindset, even just like a little bit, right?
It takes years.
Well, like that's
It
true.
does take
Yeah,
years.
it takes years.
Yeah.
Like, I can listen to any quote I want, but if I'm frustrated, I'm fucking frustrated.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. We always have to say double reaction. So our first reaction is a natural primitive reaction. Somebody insults me, I'm going to be angry or I'm going to get hurt.
Primitive.
Yeah. And then my second reaction will kick in and say, okay, what's really going on here? Am I getting news from reality here? If I can catch myself, that's where I'll go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I don't think I'll ever get rid of the first reaction.
I think we're like human, like we're human, like obviously I'm not like a psychologist. I don't know how the mind works, but I know like we're all human.
Yes.
And humans are going to have their initial reaction.
They're going to
off the bat.
Yeah. They're going to get hurt. They're going to get angry. They're going to feel flattered, whatever it's going to be instantaneous. They don't have any choice about how they're going to react the first time.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen. Yeah.
But then you come back to it. You're like, oh shit. Yeah. Maybe I did not say that correctly, and then you come back.
That's right. Let me have another go at that. I misspoke there or something like that.
Yeah.
Classic.
Well, I think that's how most fights go.
Yeah.
Is you have that initial clash,
and
then you separate for a second, you take a breather, you go,
like,
oh damn,
I'm sorry,
and then you come back,
chocolates,
and then you actually discuss. Mm-hmm. That's when the change actually happens, in my opinion.
And that's healthy. That sounds very healthy. But
yeah,
there's sort of somebody came up with these 4 relationship styles. Mm-hmm. Count them. Count those fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wait, was it the like anxious and all that? Or
no, that's attachment
style. Yeah.
That's
okay, wait, what relationship style on my quiz?
So the first one is I'm okay, but you're not. And that person who's got that attitude is a blamer. You're at fault, or your girlfriend's at fault.
Yeah.
I'm okay, you're not okay. Second one is I'm not okay, you're okay.
I was the first one. I didn't want to admit it until you admitted
I'm the second one.
I was embarrassed. First one.
I'm second one.
But you put yourself down too.
Not in the moment. I will later.
Yeah.
In the moment, I'm pure, just like, it feels like not myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we're fighting, yeah.
Yeah. So the second style where I'm not okay and you are, they're called placators. They're always trying to make peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something went wrong. They say, oh, it's probably my fault. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. That's the default setting for them.
Yeah.
The default setting for the first guy is a blamer.
Yeah.
He just goes instantly.
It's like, how could I have messed up? I don't mess up.
Yeah, I don't mess up.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
Placator and what am I called?
Yeah. Third style is I'm not okay, but neither are you. It's all fucked.
Okay. No, I like
Oh.
that one actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's absurd. Like Hunter S. Thompson would be that kind of a guy. You know who he is?
No idea.
I'm so sorry.
You should Google him. He's a crazy man. Hung out with the Hells Angels, destroyed Richard Nixon in some articles he wrote. He did a lot of drugs, shot himself in the head finally.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No, the third one is not fire then.
No, I honestly think I would be the third one. Maybe I'm changing. Maybe I'm
You're
changing.
Hunter
my
S.
answer.
Thompson?
Well, I would say like I know I'm not okay, but also the other person isn't okay, but I don't take offense to that because I know everyone has their own thought process. Like if one of my friends said something to me that kind of irked me, I don't think I would take offense because I'm like they didn't say that just to be hurtful. Like my friends don't want to hurt my feelings. Like that came from somewhere, but I also don't take offense to it at the same time. I'm like, they could have like that statement based off a sentence I said or something, or based off their own values and what they value.
You're able to do that in the spur of the moment. You're able to say, "Hold it, this isn't about me. This is about."
Like so I'm gonna cut this part, like this like brief sentence out of the show. I know that's something he values, so he's going to like use that up as a joke to undermine me, and I don't take offense to that. I'm aware of this. So yeah, I just try not to take offense.
That's really impressive to me because I would take offense to it for like days. I'd be like, how could he fucking say that to me? Oh, you know, like,
yeah, like I just don't. I'm just like I'm aware of why people are saying this.
Isn't he being absurd when he says that?
Pardon me?
Isn't he being absurd? You know, I get the.
It was a little dig, and like he meant nothing by it. I could see how someone could get hurt by it, but it's just it's staying objective about something. It's like this. Everyone has their own way to look at the earth. Everyone has their own experiences.
Sure.
Like we don't like we come on a blank page, and that page gets filled as we live with different opinions, different values. And it's just like I'm not gonna hate on this person's page. I'm just gonna understand it and understand where that comment came from.
So you're not reactive. You don't get reactive.
I would like to say I don't, but it's also based off how I was raised as well.
Yeah.
I was like screamed at as a kid, Larry. Like I was really just screamed at, and I just can't live like that anymore. I can't live fighting. Me and my mom fought all the time. You know, like at one point, I think I was 15. The noise was so loud. Like I just held a knife up to my chest. I'm like, if you do not like stop yelling at me, I'm just gonna put it in. It was so loud in my ear.
and she called your bluff?
Nope. That she did.
Yeah.
And it was so loud in my ear. I just can't live like that anymore. I can't live in constant conflict. I just rather live in understanding.
Did things change when you did that?
Things changed, not my relationship with my mom, but I think I have a healthier relationship with like Derek or my other friends because of that. You know?
Oh no, that's how I aspire to be, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm so you're not defensive. I think like every
that's what
time
I'm asking about,
every time I see problems in relationships, like romantic relationships, it's usually the people or one partner is defensive.
Yeah.
You are not defensive. Like, how did you? I'm so like the thing is the only reason I wasn't upset about that comment because I was too drunk to like probably know what he was saying.
Yeah.
But like I honestly, if I was sober, I would have been mad.
I think it comes through. I actually I don't know. I really don't know. Obviously, right now, if Derek was like, "Oh, by the way, Nico, I think you're a pussy, and I think like
That's
you should
different.
like die," I would be upset by that in the moment, obviously. But I think it just. I don't know. I'm in therapy weekly as well. I want to say that benefits me to such a high degree. I'm very lucky to do that. I don't know where it comes from. I really don't. I don't know if it came through how I was raised. I was raised through a very manipulative childhood, through just getting yelled at. If it wasn't done perfectly, do it again. And
You still live at home with your mom?
yeah. I also it carries in my work. It carries in my work every single day.
Yeah.
That relationship, but relationships like it's. I just want it to be love.
What do you mean
based.
it carries in your work?
I am obsessive to an insane degree, and if it's not perfect, I will redo it.
Okay.
Me and Derek have had many moments in the past where we will record something. I'll call him later that night. I'm like, "Hey, bro, this is not good enough. Let's do it again," and then we do it again, and it turns out better. It is. I need to make sure it is perfect to an absurd degree.
Right. I was thinking is I was listening to Nicola. Am I pronouncing your name right?
That's what my Italian people would call me, Nicola.
Yeah.
And you were in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was picking up on him talking about his mother yelling and screaming at him, and him saying he reached a certain point in his life where that was completely not acceptable anymore.
Yeah. I think how do I speak on this, because I want to make sure to find the right language to actually accurately depict how I feel about the situation. It's no secret, I've said this on the show before, Derek knows this, longtime viewers know this, Derek has actually listened to my mom screaming at me before.
Yeah,
what is that like?
This guy's so funny. He took a bunch of voice memos on his phone.
Yeah.
And then he was like, bro, listen to them. No, you were sending them in the group chat.
Yeah,
we had like
I
a
don't know
group chat with our friends, and he was like, guys, listen to this. And we were all like, what the hell? It's sort of, I mean, for the viewers, just imagine like an Asian mom, well, in English, screaming in like a movie. Like, it's very similar to like how I would see it portrayed in a movie. It's very
like
stereotypical.
Everything happening all at once. Wasn't there a woman in there that was screaming?
Yeah, Michelle Yeoh. Your mom was Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
Like very, very stereotypical screaming, like "Get over here" and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think I was raised on that. And I don't even live with I haven't spoken to my dad in a decade. I don't like my mom, Larry, but I like my mom way more than I like my dad. Like sitting next to my mom is triggering for me. Looking my mom in the eye is triggering for me.
Watching a movie with her.
If she laughs, if she cries, if she shows emotion, I just walk away. I can't do it. I just cannot do
He's
it.
cold.
I'm cold.
He's
Larry.
mysterious.
I'm cold.
He's cold.
And that's a big improvement over the way you used to be.
No, not at all. I just think that is a result of being yelled at for many, many years. And there was like a moment, I think, where and I've spoken about this moment before. It was a couple of years ago. I was just getting screamed at by my mom. And then just a switch turned off in my head where I just stopped caring. Like a week ago, I went out for dinner with Derek and his girlfriend. Before that, I got annihilated, Larry. I was getting annihilated.
And then you showed up and you were chill.
And I was chilling.
You were hella chill.
And that's sad, kind of, because I think I jump into a situation where I will just numb out while it's happening. Like I'll just take it. I'll just kind of stand there. I'll just look at the ground. I'll just wait till it's done, but I'll take it. I'll just take it up my ass, Larry. And
that's what your mom does to you?
Yeah. For extra punishment.
You'd be surprised with what these Asian moms are doing, Larry. Their levels.
You're lucky, Larry.
I won't be surprised. I am surprised.
Yeah. And I think I made somewhere down the line, I made a promise to myself where I was like, yeah, I cannot live life like this out of in other relationships, in every other relationship in my life. I just don't. I think yelling is just like, honestly, just like brain
Dude,
dead.
get this guy in the UN.
Get me on the UN.
We were always talking about I should be in the UN. You should be in the UN.
I think it goes nowhere. I think when me and Derek have had conflict in the past, we sit down and we just discuss it, and then we learn from that conversation. Like me and this guy, we've never yelled at each other, and I plan on never. Like Derek is the person I love most in this world. I plan on never yelling at this guy from the rest of my life.
What if I yelled at you? What would you do?
I'll take it. But
Like,
also next time I'd be like, no lie, that's like unacceptable. You know, like I would in the moment I would take it, but I'd be like, that is really unacceptable behavior. That's not something I have come to expect from Derek at all. What I expect from him is love, which he's consistently provided for years. Yeah. You know?
So doesn't your mom change when she saw you with the knife in your hand?
I was about 15 when I did that. And I remember I don't even remember exactly what was happening. It was just, I remember it being so loud. It was so loud. And I was just like, oh my God, like I can't take this. I can't take it. I cannot take it. It was just really loud and it was not going to stop. It just was not stopping.
Was the loudness actual auditory volume or was it psychological volume?
It was both.
Yeah.
And I think even if I'm not being yelled at audibly, psychologically I carry that into
Yeah.
myself. I
Yeah.
think the biggest trait of mine, I think my biggest strength is drive. I think that is my biggest strength. I think I have other strength like love, kindness, givingness, but my biggest strength is drive. But that drive came from, if it's not perfect, I will get yelled at.
I'm not going to get abused again. I'm not going to give anybody any excuse to yell at me because they'll clearly see that what I just did was perfect.
Yeah. If back in the day, like if it was not perfect, you either redo it. I was held to a very high standard of operating like an adult at a very young age. And I think the reason why I just want to have relationships based in love, that comes from abuse. Like, it sounds great when I'm saying it right now. Like, I love Derek so much. I want to keep everything adult. I want to keep it respectful, and I want to keep it love based. That comes from abuse. That's where it comes from.
And like a romantic relationship, how are you like when conflicts arise? Because that's inevitable.
Yeah, I think
What's the question?
Like in a romantic relationship, if conflict were to arise, which will always happen.
100%. 100%.
How are you like?
I think in the past, when I was 19, when I wasn't aware of things like attachment styles or being self-aware, I would just try to solve it instantly.
Yeah.
Right. But I think now, obviously, I haven't been in a proper romantic relationship for maybe about 2 years now, Larry. It's dry over here, Larry. It's dry.
Yeah, we need dating tips from Larry.
Yeah.
You haven't been in a relationship for 2 years?
It's dry.
Yeah. It's dry over here, Larry. This
Down
is a dry.
south.
This is the dry corner.
I gotta go over there.
Yeah.
I've been hearing that about young people too, that there's fewer and fewer, they're having less and less sex than they used to.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I think, and there's like a loneliness epidemic for men. Like my guy participates.
Yeah. I signed that waiver. And I think I kind of lost my track here of what I was saying.
What happened in your relationship 2 years ago, if you don't mind me asking? What was there conflict there with her?
It would be different things. Like, I would think this person's like permanently mad at me for some reason, and that comes from anxiety and being an anxious attachment type, which I've now learned. Or this girl cheated on me, and I was like, maybe I'll stay. Like,
He said
what
it exactly
was I
like
doing,
he said it
Larry?
like that.
What was I
That was
doing?
his voice.
That is not an adult way. That's adultery. That's not an adult way
It's
to behave.
literally
Yeah.
It's in it's in the word.
Yeah, it's kind of
adultery.
Yeah. But that's I can't believe I took that back in the day, and I've learned.
So you were sort of like a doormat?
100%.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was a doormat, but also I was
didn't
the
you
one
learn
that
that?
laid myself on the ground.
Didn't you learn that with your mom?
Yeah, but I was so
No, you
young.
got to learn it 3 times.
Yeah, it takes 3 times, Larry. It takes 3 times.
You know what they say?
And I think
Just
I was
once.
so young, I didn't know. I was so young, I just didn't
No, I
understand.
think you learn it once, and it goes so deep in you. It's so it's woven into your strands of your being, and then you say, okay, I'll never do that again. In my next relationship, I'm going to be a different guy.
Yeah.
And then something happens, and you think, holy fuck, I'm acting the same way I did.
I'm the same fucking guy.
Yeah.
I'm just like my father.
Yeah, and I think it was like in my in my romantic relationships, I wasn't yelled at. I've never been yelled at by anyone but my mom or my dad. But it was like I was expecting it, so I just laid myself on the ground. I was the one that I was the one that acted as the doormat. I did that by choice.
And you imagined or you saw that she was angry at you all the time. You either imagined it or it was real.
I imagined it.
Yeah, well, who was mad at you all the time? Your mom.
Mommy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she would yell her anger. But this girlfriend you had didn't need to yell.
No.
You just assumed she was just like mom.
Yeah.
Why did you break up?
I was a teenager, Larry. You know, this will happen. You go through change, and then it just dies out.
Yeah. Huh.
What's your relationship advice, Larry?
Well, she's been away for a month, so it's been quite lovely.
Oh my God, we're long
Lovely.
distance.
It's been lovely.
We're long distance bros, Larry.
No, she was traveling in South America with a group of her friends, and so I took it as an opportunity to say, okay, what parts of my being haven't I been feeding? Well, and I'm going to feed it while she's away. And so I used to be a dancer, contact improvisation dancer. Do you know what that is?
Contact improvisation dancer?
Yeah.
Is that like when people like tango?
Ooh.
No, it's sort of like free form, but you touch somebody. You're on the dance floor. You touch with your wrist or your stomach or your back or your head, and you keep that stationary, and then you improvise around that still point.
Oh, okay.
And it's incredible. It's an incredible experience. So I used to do that 40 years ago, and I would get high from the dance. I wouldn't get high. I wouldn't get high.
That's that dancer's high.
Yeah, that's a good
dancer's high.
Dancer's high. And I was doing my master's thesis at the same time, and I would use my head all day long, and then I would go to the dance studio and use my body for 2 hours, and I would always leave clean and high. And when I was dancing, I said to myself, what's going on here? Oh, I think I'm discovering an uncontaminated vocabulary, a way of being that hasn't been contaminated by my upbringing. So that's what the theme that we've been talking about, how our upbringing slots us in a certain way of being in the world, and we keep trying to escape that, and with some success and some not success.
Yeah.
And with dancing, I felt like I got out of that whole realm. I was in a totally different realm. So when my partner said, I'm going on this trip, I said, okay, well, I'm going to check this out. And there's a thing called 5 rhythm dancing. Have you heard of that?
Never heard
Shout
of
out
that.
to 5 rhythm.
I'm not in the dance world.
No, we don't dance. I just like in my shower, I'll pop a few wave.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
But that's it.
Because it's slippery.
Yeah. So I started dancing on Wednesday nights with this group, and you come into this dance hall and everybody's by themselves. They're not dancing with anybody. And the music starts up, and after a while you get warmed up, and you might make eye contact with somebody, and you start dancing with them, and then
Whoa, is this like speed dating?
Whoa, he's married, bro. Okay.
And when the feeling leaves, say you're dancing with somebody and it's really good and the energy is really good, and then the feeling goes away, it's okay to walk away. You don't have to apologize or anything. It's just the feeling's been used up and you move on. Yeah, that kind of thing. So I'm doing that. I'm drumming. Djembe drum. You know what a djembe drum is?
Like that?
Yeah, West African.
And then you can it's like, and then you go like this to like warm up the drum.
That's right. Yeah. So I do that on Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights.
How do you know that?
I do things, man.
Okay. You're sophisticated.
Yeah.
Warm it up.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. The question was, so what about my relationship? Isn't that
Or just general dating advice? Like, what dating advice would you give him?
Give it to me.
Give it to him.
I'm so curious.
I think people sort of lose touch with what they really desire. And they become interested in pleasing the other person. And so they stop being who they actually are, and they start to try to be what the other person desires. That's sort of what you do, I think, eh?
My boy.
I said him. I said give him advice.
That's my boy.
I said give him
allow it.
advice.
That's my boy. Allow it.
Yeah,
you revealed more about yourself than Nicola has, and you were talking about how dependent you are on feedback from people, and so if you're dependent on feedback from other people, then you're going in a romantic relationship. You're going to try and get good feedback from your partner, so you're going to tailor all your comments to elicit that good feedback, and you're going to lose yourself in the process. There's a danger of losing yourself in the process.
I think it's a mixture of like, I really like the external feedback, and then also feeling not anxious, but I do have worries that I will be left. I think that comes from just me not having as high self-esteem as I proclaim on the show. So it's the combo of those two that could create that danger. I want to say that I haven't completely lost myself, and I'm very confident I won't, but I do find myself, playing into more of a character that would be more desirable for her than as authentic as I can be.
Yeah. I think everybody goes through that. You working. I want to be attractive to you, and I want to be me. Let's go back to those relationship styles when I say, I'm okay, you're not okay. You're not okay, I'm okay, you know, that whole thing. I think the two primary needs of all as human beings is to belong, huge need to belong, and not to be abandoned, not to be left, but to be safe and securely embedded in a relationship.
Yeah.
And the other strong need is to be who you actually are. And when you're young, when you're your age, often people set them up in opposition. If I'm really myself, nobody likes me. If I am really popular with everybody, then I'm not happy with myself because I'm not myself anymore.
Yeah.
You can't win.
Yeah, I think that's just finding balance. That's how
Okay,
you do
you
it.
can win. You can
That's
win.
how you do it. That's how you do it.
Yeah, you have to find balance.
Yeah.
So when you start drifting away from who you actually are, that's going to start yelling in your ear, stop doing that. And when you become too autonomous, too self-sufficient, something's going to yell in your ear, you're all alone, you're isolated. Come on, get out, meet people.
What do you think of Gen Zs in general? I'm curious about that.
I don't have much of a sense. When I was talking to Aaron, he said the language you guys use. You used some language earlier.
Sure, you guys had slang when you were.
Sure.
What was the slang like when you were 20?
Cool.
Oh, we say that.
Rad.
We say cool.
I say cool like at least twice.
Hang loose.
That's in Hawaii. That's in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace sign. The peace sign.
I say
was big.
peace.
Peace sign.
I
was
say
big
peace
back in
right
the day.
now.
I
I'll
don't
be
say it
like,
as
yeah,
much.
peace.
Yeah, peace is staying.
But like, as in like when we're leaving.
Yeah. Or yo. Was yo a thing?
No.
Really? Never mind.
No.
One thing we say, I'm saying it right now. I've been saying it more, and it's kind of cringe, but I'm bringing it back.
Yeah?
It's lit.
What?
Lit.
It's lit. Like if something's lit, what do you think that means?
Aaron said something about fire, and
Oh yeah.
I'm relating lit to fire.
Yeah, if something's warm, if you use a warm adjective, it means it's good.
It
Like
means it's
lit,
really, really
it's
good.
Fire.
Yeah.
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 How about, don't people say when something's really good, they say, that's so bad?
Or no, maybe that's sick.
Sick.
That's so bad.
Yeah, no, it's sick.
Yeah.
Sick.
Sick's
Sick.
the word.
That's
Yeah.
sick.
And Riz, right? Charisma. Here's
Yeah.
a related thought. That whatever era you're born into, you're Gen Z, you cannot help but think that's the natural era. That's
Yeah, of
human
course.
nature.
Yeah.
You just take what is a culturally common and you embody it, you internalize it like it's human nature.
Yeah.
And you think, say, the last 5 years have been full of woke talk. You know what woke talk?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I was teaching at a university and that had slogans, woke slogans all over the university. And I knew...
Stop Asian hate.
What?
No, I had to say my quick woke slogan real quick.
Yeah. And I knew, because I'm old, that these things come and go, and they're not universal, and they're not human nature. It's just a fad that people move through, and then they're into the next fad. But when you're in it, when you think this is natural, it shakes you up when it changes. And that's what's going on in the States right now. The Republicans and Trump and those guys are all saying, let's go back. We don't want this progressive stuff. We don't want the woke stuff. It's too upsetting. I want it to be just like it
The
used
good
to
old days,
be.
dude.
The good old days.
Make America great again.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And I used to sort of look at people on the ferry. If I was on the ferry, and I'd look at their haircut and say, oh, they stopped growing in the 1950s. Oh, that person stopped growing in the 1970s. They, whatever hairstyle they had told me where they arrested themselves. They said, okay, this is my final form. I'm not evolving from here.
Oh, that's me now. I'm not evolving from this.
You don't want to evolve?
You should never evolve either. Let's
No,
just
I
keep
wanted
the same haircut.
Oh, I thought you meant like emotionally as well.
No, you- oh, does it emotionally too?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Nah,
Okay, you know
yeah,
what?
I was saying, bro,
Never
no,
mind.
please,
Maybe
bro.
one day I'll have like a pompadour or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An adult, sophisticated haircut.
I think the other thing that I wanted to say is that clothing is signifiers.
Yeah.
Tell me how you understand what I just said.
People use clothes to express themselves.
Yeah.
So, like,
It's
there's a
an
lot of
announcement. It's like an
Yeah.
advertisement for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm cool. I'm a nerd. I'm an athlete.
I'm a jock.
Wow, that was pretty magical. Did you both say
We
jock?
both said jock.
That's pretty magical. That's pretty magical.
Or like, I'm emo.
Yeah. So the way they dress is sort of saying, here's the kind of person I am, and I know the kind of person that I want to attract, and I know that this style will attract that kind of person.
Yeah.
That's going on all the time.
I say this to people, and I feel like some people don't agree, but I can't even fathom how you wouldn't agree. But when we're around a lot of stylish people, and I've never worn clothes that wasn't purely so everyone else thinks I'm cool. Like I've never put a single piece of clothing on or gotten a single tattoo that wasn't purely for other people.
It's external.
Like
it's external.
Yeah. And so when people don't agree and they say they dress for themselves, I have a like how is that even possible?
Maybe if you wear hella comfy clothes, you dress.
Oh
for yourself.
no! If you're in satin pajamas all the time, you dress for yourself, and I respect you so much.
Yeah.
Like if I ever start wearing satin all the time, just know I've hit peace in my heart.
Wow, that'll be a good day. That'll be a good day.
If you start what?
Wearing like satin in my head, that's like the comfiest texture.
Yeah.
From my
No, that's interesting.
stuff,
That's
especially.
interesting what you're saying. That you can't even imagine. It's inconceivable that people dress for themselves. And I might agree with you. I'll be thinking about that on my way home.
I like that.
I was driving through the downtown east side on the way here because my GPS took me there.
No.
And I saw a young guy, maybe 5 years older than you guys, and he was standing like this.
I gotta catch him in the frame.
He was smoking something.
Because if you're not standing like that, you're not high. You know?
I thought he was
Oh, microphone, by the way, Larry.
totally stoned.
Yeah.
No, that's how you know, like, that feels good. Like
When you
the
stand
drugs.
Yeah.
Like if I'm doing drugs but I'm standing straight, just know
It's not good.
it's not. I don't like. I'm not. That
How would
high.
you be standing if you're feeling really good? Show me.
No way.
No, you can't flash Larry, bro.
But they always have their pants.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna pull your cheeks out, bro, and show it to Larry.
That's why he wore his crunchy underwear.
That's why I have my.
He knew
crunchy
this
underwear.
was. He set this whole thing up.
Larry, I have a big final question for you.
Okay.
Here. You know, me and Derek are very young men. I'll just let him do
I
his
gotta
pants
put my
episode.
pants up.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you put your pants on while I ask this question. Me and Derek, very young men. I think we both have a lot to learn. You know, what is advice that you can give us? You know, my dream is to be you. In you know 50, 60 years. That's my dream. How can I get there, Larry?
Oh,
Whoa, I like this.
he's doing the thing he did at the start of the episode,
When he locks in.
like when he locks in.
I think that you make the shift from what you've been articulating about doing everything for everybody else. So you're using their compass, not your own compass.
Yeah.
So I was saying things 50 years ago that I'm just saying with confidence now. I was saying I understood it 50 years ago, but I didn't have the confidence in myself. I didn't trust myself.
Yeah.
And so most young people have that internal critic, and that's the loudest voice in their head, or doubt. Either doubt or the internal critic is keeping them small.
Yeah.
And I just want to say to them, hey, love yourself. Just love yourself and trust yourself. And course correct. You know, nobody knows. You don't know how this interview is going to go. You just trust that it's going to go, that it's going to go well.
Yeah.
And if you fuck up, you know that you can correct it. You said, no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Here's what I was really trying to say. Let me correct myself. So I think that's the big thing. Once you learn that you can course correct, then you don't have to get it perfect the first time. And you try to get it perfect the first time, I think, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if it's not perfect the first time, I will do it until it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's some good things about that. You know, like I mentioned, I do some clay sculpturing, and I did this one piece where this guy was emerging out of rocks, and on the other side, this woman was emerging into the same rock that they were.
He was coming out of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did a really nice job, except for the inside where the woman was trying to come through. I didn't glaze it properly.
Glaze.
Nice.
I showed it to an artist friend of mine. She said, "Oh, well, why didn't you glaze the inside?" I said, "Oh, I just got tired."
Yeah, sometimes you get tired. You can't glaze the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can only glaze the outside sometimes. That's
Yeah.
the tip.
Yeah.
She said, "That's no excuse."
Oh!
What do you mean?
He's tired.
Sleep is so important.
It is important, and I get lots of sleep, and I like being fresh.
Yeah.
But I like the perfection of if I'm gonna do this, I may as well do it well. I may as well show myself my talent. May as well show my brain as well as I can, rather than just sloughing through it.
Yeah.
It's like people said, "Well, you know, if I'd have tried on that exam, I would have got an A. That's why I got a D."
That's yeah.
Yeah, they're protecting their
That's what I would say.
Yeah, they're protecting their self-esteem, right? And you get to a certain point, and you say, "I'm going to do the best I can for me."
Yeah.
Before I came over here, I cleaned up my place because my girl's coming back.
Oh.
But I misspoke there
Oh.
because I've kept the place clean for a month, and I love keeping it clean. I love
For you.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So more and more, that's the way I operate. Is everything I do is for me.
Dude, we need that. We need a Larry tattoo.
Larry,
We need
I'm
a
gonna get
Larry quote
portrait of
tattoo.
you.
No, a quote.
Tattoo. No,
a
I want a
quote.
Larry face on my stomach right here. I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna email you.
Wait,
a
do you have
picture
your
of it.
phone?
Okay.
I have my phone. Yeah, it's right here.
Okay, wait. Look at him and then Google that Bernie Sanders meme.
What?
There's a Bernie Sanders meme where he has his leg crossed with a black jacket on. Please Google this.
Bernie Sanders meme.
Yeah. That's it.
There you go. There I go.
That's him.
Okay, do you want to do the quiz?
But should we hide against the paywall, everyone? That's
No.
my
I'm
question.
thinking we do the quiz here.
Okay.
And
you guys
then-
are lucky today.
Yeah, and then we do some Patreon questions for Larry on the Patreon.
we asked
Okay.
our patrons that we told them that Larry was coming on, and we said that you could ask anything, and we'll ask him for you. So
Yeah.
that is the $5 value right there. I'm selling $5 to get the best advice of your life. 2 back-to-back fire advice episodes.
Yeah.
By the way,
But before we do that, we're actually gonna give Larry a pop culture quiz that we have created for you. Derek, do you have your laptop on
have
you,
my
or should I
laptop.
get mine?
I have my laptop. I
Okay,
gotta
get
get
your
from my
laptop
window.
and also
my belt.
And also his belt is undone. Sorry about that, Larry. Basically, what we're gonna be doing, Larry, is we're gonna be showing you a series of images.
Yeah.
And a lot of these images are around pop culture, what has come up over time, what is maybe we have given different dates, maybe ones that are 40 years ago, ones that are very current from a couple months ago.
Okay.
And we're just gonna see if you know what each one is.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
this is the very first image.
do you
and we
wanna
just-
hold it?
Yeah, I'll hold it.
Or yeah, you
And I
hold
just
it.
want to do you know what this is, Larry?
and I can click the button and you hold
Yes,
it.
Darth Vader.
That's Darth Vader.
Easy.
Very huge franchise, Star Wars, humongous franchise.
You know, he actually doesn't say, "Luke, I'm your father."
No, I did not know that.
Like it's a Mandela effect.
He says
Right?
something. He says,
He says
"No,
something
I
else.
am your father," or something like that. I don't know.
Mandela.
effect. Okay, Darth Vader.
Okay.
First one, really easy.
One of one.
But we decided to pick it up a little bit. Each one's gonna get a little bit harder.
Okay,
Okay.
next.
Do you know who that is?
Do you know who that is?
no.
Drake.
You don't know Drake?
No.
You don't
You
know?
know-
Do you know
I know Drake is fighting with somebody, having a bitch fight with somebody.
with Kendrick?
With Kendrick?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, so you know Drake,
Okay, so you know Drake.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
but you can't. You don't know him by what he looks like. Clearly.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I
Next
might
one.
not even know what he sounds like.
Oh, well, these get harder because I
Yeah.
thought that one would be somewhat. You know,
No, I'm 82.
yeah, but Drake is for all ages.
Yeah.
That's what he would want me to say.
Okay, Michael Jackson in the middle. Oh, they're all Michael Jackson.
He thought they were different.
Yeah.
Did you like Michael Jackson?
I like Thriller.
The music video is
everyone
great. The
likes
music
Thriller.
video is great. I think we can all agree
Yeah.
Thriller's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what really happened in that in this timeline. But
Yeah, yeah.
It's sad. It's really sad.
yeah, Michael.
Yeah.
Do you know there's rumors?
His rumors?
There's rumors that he was doing bad things to kill the children.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You believe it?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
If Larry believes it, it's
That means
true.
Larry has, he's an intelligent man. Okay, next one. Do you know who that is?
He looks familiar, but no, I don't know who that is.
no. But if you had to,
I'm moving a bit.
yeah, if you have
Not
to,
me.
That's Aaron
him when he-
Johnstone, Larry.
Really?
I don't think
I've never seen him smile.
Damn, Aaron.
that's Aaron Johnstone pre-muscle relaxing
Yeah,
era.
you said that. I don't know how we could get a full colorized image of you in your 30s, Larry.
No, I colored it myself.
Yeah. But that is Aaron Johnstone.
Yeah, he looks very pleasant.
Yeah, no, nice, good-looking man.
Yeah.
Good-looking
Good-looking
man.
guy.
Okay, next one. Do you know what that is? Hey, I'll move a bit closer. You know what that is? Huge on pop culture. Huge on pop culture.
No.
Okay.
You know Kim Kardashian?
Yeah.
Back in the day, she made a tape of her having intercourse with her boyfriend.
Ray J.
Yeah, and then uploaded it to the internet, and it stirred a lot of drama. Big moment on pop culture.
What do you know about Kim Kardashian?
Paris Hilton did the same thing, didn't she?
Smart.
Dude, why are we not doing this,
Okay.
bro?
Well, I'll get on it.
Paris Hilton had sex with Kid Rock or somebody like that.
Is that the country singer?
Paris Hilton?
No, Kid Rock.
He's rock and roll, hard, heavy metal
tripping.
kind of guy. Yeah.
That's the way to get your. That's the way to make it big in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You got to sell your soul.
Look, and they look in love. You know.
Yeah.
he does not look in love.
No,
looks-
no. This is after. So
Yeah.
he had the post nut clarity. So he's like, get this fucking bitch off me.
I don't
That's
know
what
if
he's
Larry knows
thinking.
what post nut clarity is.
I talked to
Self-explanatory.
this woman from Mexico, and
Oh, God.
she said, love is eternal as long as the penis is hard.
Yeah.
That's what he's thinking.
That's what
He's just like, I'm not hard anymore.
That's exactly what he's thinking right there.
Get me out of here. is
Yeah,
what-
he wants to leave now.
She's like,
Yeah.
thumbnail. Okay.
Okay. I'm not doing so well in this.
You know these guys.
You know these guys, Larry.
You know these
Blink.
guys.
He was about to say Blink
Blink 182.
Yeah.
That's them.
That's not. It is One Direction.
One Direction.
Similar
No,
to
One
Blink
Direction.
182.
Liam.
Yes, lie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am.
Okay, which one's Liam? Him? Which one do you think
I
is
think
Liam?
the one on the second from the left.
That actually
Yeah.
is Liam.
Okay, next one.
All right.
Do you know who this is?
No.
Very influential child.
Mini Me.
No.
I don't even know who that is, really.
This is this guy named the Rizzler. Honestly, I didn't do it. He's very big in pop culture right now. He's a child.
This is him on Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have literally...
What's his claim to fame? What's he do?
You know the face he's doing right now with that?
Yeah.
It's you know how we were talking about like the term Riz or charisma?
Yeah.
He is known as this guy named the Rizzler.
Wow.
Also,
Wow.
like... Is he
You guys
around
are
those...
educating me.
Yeah,
You're
you
bringing
should...
me up to speed.
We're repaying you the favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you should go hang around some people and talk about the Rizzler and see if they know what you're talking about. Some
I'll do that the next time I'm in a bar or something. I'll go approach somebody. And
Yeah. Next time we go drinking.
I'll say my name.
Oh my God, we should go to a bar.
Yeah. I'll say my name is Nicola Derek.
Yeah, and I know the Rizzler.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Do you know
Any of these people.
what this is?
Is that Jake Paul or
It's his brother.
Logan?
Logan
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah. Do you know what he's saying in this current frame?
No.
He's saying, "I like my cheese drippy."
Wait, how do you know Logan Paul? Or how do you know Jake Paul?
Because he just finished boxing. His brother kept boxing Mike Tyson.
That's
2
actually
weeks
true.
ago.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think
he's into this pop
Really,
culture.
you know what's up. I would say
know
you know
what's
what's up.
up.
Holy smokes.
Okay.
Okay. Wait. This might. Okay. Do you know who this is?
No.
She's a famous podcaster.
Famous-
Same realm as us.
Same realm as us. She is known for this very certain quote called "Hawk Tua spit on that thing."
What do you think she's spitting on? What is she famous for?
Spitting on a guy's dink.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You got it right.
And then she blew up because everyone was like, "That's how you do it. That's how you do it." That's basically the whole consensus.
yeah, that
right?
might have been the last one.
And now
They
she's
showed-
famous.
She did a video where she spit on this guy's dink.
no, she's just talking about.
She's talking about it,
about
okay.
like this is how you should spit on a dingus.
And now she's a famous podcaster with 200,000 subscribers, more than us, because you know what? We should like get me famous. What the hell?
Yeah, no, she got lucky. I guess she got
How old is she? She's same age as you guys?
I think maybe a little bit older.
Probably. I think
Yeah,
she's older.
yeah.
A little bit older. A little bit
I
older.
saw this beautiful, beautiful woman on some newspaper, and she looked like 22 years old, and she had puffed up lips, and she was making gazillion dollars doing something.
Kylie Jenner.
Maybe.
Maybe.
What was it like?
Yeah.
Her lips resemble my lips.
Bigger than your lips.
Okay, Kylie.
Yeah.
But when I do this,
Sort of.
okay, Kylie. It's
Okay,
Kylie
it's
Jenner.
Kylie Jenner. It's
Yeah.
I
Kylie
have
Jenner.
Kylie
What
Jenner's
is she
lips.
famous for? Does she cook or tell
Kim
you?
Kardashian's daughter.
Yeah?
I think.
Okay.
Wait,
Maybe sister?
no, they're related somehow. I don't know.
Maybe sister? Okay, that
and
was the
then
last
she
one.
has her makeup brand now, but they're related somehow.
Yeah.
That was the last one.
And
Okay.
that's we need to have sex with Ray J.
I don't. It's so much harder than that, bro. It's so much harder than that.
Our cameras are dying. We're taking this.
Let's
to
do
Patreon.
the Patreon thing.
Yeah, Larry. Thank you for coming on the show.
Okay.
Really, thank you for taking the time. I do want to thank you. I know how long we filmed today.
Yeah.
How long we're about to film right now, as we have a little bit more to film. I just want to thank you. I know how. Like, I know going through East Side probably was not fun to get on your way over here.
No.
It was interesting.
I appreciate you rescheduling. I appreciate you responding to my email when I first reached out. Just thank you. I know how interesting of an experience this was, and I thank you for being open to it. Thank you to being open to me and Derek, and just really putting everything you have into this. I appreciate it. Thank you, Larry.
Okay. Well, I appreciated how professional you were.
We're professional.
Yeah, the way you communicated and the clarity of your communication and the perfectionism. I didn't call it that when I was reading your emails, but I appreciated it. Yeah,
Thank you.
that you were covering all the bases.
Aaron said he wasn't professional.
Okay, well, I learned, and then I did it
okay.
differently next time.
Yeah.
Okay, Larry. Yeah.
If we ever have a beer sauce party, you should totally come.
Okay, I will
Yeah.
totally come.
Okay.
We should have a beer sauce party.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Larry.
Your $5 is going to be worth it, everyone. In the next segment on the Patreon, let's go.
BeerSos.